Okay, let us start the first video lecture of programming C, which is about introduction to computer languages. So what are the topics which we are going to cover in this particular video are: first one is your introduction to computer, then algorithm, then flowchart, then structured programming approach. At last we will learn about what is C programming language, or you can say introduction to C. So first let us go to introduction to computer. So this is the theoretical, or you can say the definition of computer. So in this particular definition it is written that computer is an advanced electronic device which takes data as input from the user to process it, and after processing in particular program, or you can say in set of instructions which is already predefined in the computer, it gives the result or output, as well as it can store the output, or it stores the output for future references. Computer is a device which can perform both numerical and non-numerical operations also. As we all know, Charles Babbage is called as father of computer, but the computer which was designed by Charles Babbage was only a calculator. It's a type of calculator which can perform the calculations. So typically in a modern computer we have different parts such as input device, output device and central processor. So what are the input devices? Input devices by which we can give input or data or information to the computer to process. So output device are the devices by which the processed data or the processed result or processed the information is come back to us from the computer is known as the output device. Similarly, the central processor, which is known as the heart of the computer, the central processor is the heart of the computer which processes the data information which the user gives to the computer to process it and to produce a result. Fine. So this is the introduction to the computer, which we all know about it. There is no new thing. Next, let us go to algorithm. Okay, after the introduction of computer, let us see what is algorithm. So if we go for definition of algorithm, it is nothing but it's a procedure or formula of solving a particular recurring problem or particular problem in a mathematical way in computer science. So what is algorithm? We can say algorithm is nothing but a sequential set of instructions to resolve a particular problem in a particular manner. So algorithm is a thing which is essential for each and every problem which occurs in any kind of subject. It can be your computer science, it can be mechanical, it can be civil, it can be electrical, whatever may be. But for the programming viewpoint, a programmer needs an algorithm very important. For a programmer, algorithm is very important because the algorithm is a thing by which a programmer can understand what are the processes or what are the way or what is the way of finding a result in a particular problem. So every computer programmer should know about the algorithm. In future, in next classes, where we will find different kind of C structures or C functions, where we will do some programs, we will learn about algorithm, how algorithm is written for a particular problem and how that particular problem can be converted into a flowchart, and that particular flowchart can be converted into a program. Now, after the algorithm, we have flowchart. So, what is a flowchart? Flowchart is a diagram that represents the algorithm or processes. The diagrammatic representation can give a step-by-step solution to a given problem. The process, operations, are represented in various kind of boxes and connections arrow connecting them represent the flow of data or flow which can be represented the flow of operations whatever may be. So typically a flow chart is nothing but a diagrammatic representation of an algorithm. So what is algorithm? As we know that algorithm is a solution for a particular problem. If anybody or any programmer doesn't have time to read all the algorithm step by step to perform it, so for easy we can convert that algorithm to a flowchart. If we convert the algorithm to a flowchart, we can see the steps, the processes in a diagrammatic way. So to draw the diagram, we have different things like we have an ellipse to indicate start and ending of a solution or algorithm. We have a rhombus which indicates input and output information or data. We have rectangles to indicate the computations or processes. We have the diamond shape which indicates the decision made in the particular solutions. On at last we have the arrow marks which tells us the flow of data or flow of control from one step to another step in an algorithm. So why a flowchart is required? See, if we have algorithm then we have flowchart, it become very easy to convert that algorithm or to convert that flowchart into a program, because after doing the algorithm and converting that algorithm to a flowchart, almost 99% of all the work has been done for a program. Because why we are doing program? To find a solution for a particular problem. And if we have an algorithm and a flowchart for that particular problem, then we have the solution. Already we have done the algorithm, so we know the processes, what to do and how to do. Then we have the flowchart for the diagrammatic representation, and the only thing is remaining that just convert that algorithm to a C program or any kind of computer language. So after the algorithm and flowchart, let us see what is structured programming approach. During the 70s and 80s, the primary software engineering methodology was structured programming. This approach of programming was based on following methods. So the first method is to solve a large program, break that particular problem into several pieces and work on each pieces separately. Method 2, to solve each pieces, treat it is as a new problem, then it can be broken into further down into smaller program. And third method is repeat the process with each new piece of unit where it can be solved directly, or we have to break it until a particular point where it directly without further decomposition it can be solved. So this process is also known as top-down programming approach. So basically, structured programming approach is the first of a kind of approach for a computer program. It is the very old. It is very old, but still, in some cases, the structured programming approach is done. Okay. So structured programming approach is basically a old method where we uses different basically we uses C and C++ mostly, and some assembly languages, and use of different data structures to do it. So C is also one kind of structured program. Okay. So let us see what is C. Introduction to C. The C is a general purpose procedural computer language developed in 1972 by Dennis Ritchie at Bell Telephone Lab for use with Unix operating system. Fine. So we can tell this particular C language was developed for a particular problem. So what is the problem? The problem is development of Unix operating language. To develop a particular operating language, Dennis Ritchie developed a computer language known as C. If we tell about the history of C, it's nothing. We can tell C is an inherited language which came from language B, and language B is an inherited language which came from language A. So why C is famous? Because C is a language which is English type language. The language A and B are similar, very similar to machine level languages, which can be remembered by the programmer, but it is very difficult to remember. C is famous because the keywords or the words which we are using in C language are very familiar English like languages, English like words which can be remembered. First. Second one is, as it is a language which is designed to develop a operating system, it is very mature. It is very advanced than its previous languages. And the most important is, if we learn the C language very clearly, we can understand any other computer languages which we have today in our market, like C++, Java, .NET, Python, R language, whatever may be. It gives a particular student or a particular programmer a basic fundamental knowledge of programming. That is why we need C. In next class, we will see different new things about C, and we will start writing C program. Thank you.